All right, guys, do a little shave. We have a Stirling Finest Badger knot here. This is a 26 millimeter knot, I think. I broke it off of the normal Stirling handle because it was just a little too hard to hold on to. I've had that soaking for a few minutes. It's a Finest Badger, so it kind of needs it. This is a open comb razor from Fatip. Now this is the version 1 of their open comb. It's a little bit more aggressive than the version 2 that has been out now for years. The Nacet is my big blade that's had so many uses on it. We're going to put another one on it today. And here's the little area where I'm adding the shaves in. On the little tab, I ran out of room everywhere else on the envelope. And so here is the blade. Over under my finger there is where the top of the X, where that has always been. And then a good many shaves ago I added the 3 dots to, in case the X fades away. That way you know it's the same blade. Well, you know to be reasonably sure. Of course, I could be faking things, but that's not me. The soap today is Klar, which I just learned from my friend Akim that Klar means clear in German. And so we're looking at either an iceberg or a mountaintop. Oh no, that's a bear. Haha, in reverse, I couldn't tell what it was. Clear. And it's an old soap. I was talking to him about the fact that we use Williams here in America, and that was one of the historically one of the traditional shaving soaps for many years before this big artisan boom and stuff, and before canned shave goo and that sort of thing. And I asked him what was there for him, and there are a couple that are still around, that he mentioned, and Klar was one of them. It is a hugely disappointing soap when you get it for the first time, because this is a small tin. As comparison, here is the Mitchell's Wool Fat ceramic tin. Now granted, this puck is taller than a Mitchell's puck, but I'm just saying disappointing. You get this because why? Because for the Mitchell's puck, I think you're paying, if you get a good deal, you probably get it for like $11. This is like a $30 deal here, and it's got this little aluminum tub that's easily dented when being moved around and traveling and things like that. This one has a good many dents in it, and but the good news is that it lasts a very long time, and I think that's its redeeming quality. $30, right? Well, I didn't pay $30 for mine. I lucked out. I sought after and found it in the used market. Got pretty lucky. All right, I just took a shower. I used a glycerin soap to wash my face, and I'm going to take let's load it on up here. Take my Stirling Badger, get rid of a lot of the water. If you want to leave some water in there to shortcut your lathering process, feel free to do that. It has been soaking, so you can see that it's a little on the moist side. If it does rotate in the puck, at least in the tin, at least one good thing you can do is squeeze the tin with your fingers. Keep it from moving around. I should have noted the time. Looks like maybe I started about 13 seconds. So let's do let's see if maybe a 30-second load. So that's 20 seconds right there. We'll see if a 30-second load will be plenty. And there we go. Well, I certainly opened up a lot of this airy stuff. Now let me rinse the puck. need to put, I'm trying to be fast today. This is a morning shave, which is odd for me. I'm real happy with the performance of this soap base. Last time I used it, I don't think anything's going to change about that. This is the Sandalwood scent, and it's got a paper label at the bottom. I need to throw some clear shipping tape on that so that it kind of is a little bit more waterproof than that. Otherwise it's not going to last. Sandenholz looks like the name, and obviously that's probably sandalwood in German. Okay, now let's take the Fatip. Now here's how you can tell it's the original, the version 1. There's no Fatip label here or here. In one of these locations on the underside of the base plate, you'll see the Fatip logo pressed in, embossed into the metal. Now, if you have them side by side, you can tell which one is which by looking here. I was able to easily see a larger gap. See this thing here? There's a larger gap right here. That's very easy to tell when you've got them both together. Now with most Fatips, one of the best ways to line up a blade, for me at least, is just to kind of hold it flat, place the blade on top, then just let it fall down. Do the same thing with the base plate. And about half the time, it will lock into just the right place. So let's just see if that happened. Really close. Back it off just a little bit. Now, since this is more aggressive than the current one, that's why I picked it for today. I want to see how it plays with the old Nacet with, I think this is 224. I think this is 224 uses. So let's see. All right. Just to refresh my face, let me splash some water on there. I do have about a day's growth. My water here at this location is hard, so any soap I use has to be able to work with hard water. Most of the time, all you need to do is just add a little bit extra soap. And so that helps you overcome the hard water problems. I'm gonna add some water to this right away. Just see if I loaded enough. It's a hard soap, so it may need a little bit more load time, but we'll see. That's why I soaked it. Sometimes I don't bother putting in that thin, airy lather at all because it just doesn't have a whole lot of soap in it. Today I did. Sometimes it can help. Sometimes it just causes it has to be beat down to get back in with the lather, you know. And now this stuff is starting to increase in quantity pretty easily. With what, about a teaspoon? Yeah, teaspoon of water added in already. Haven't used this Stirling Badger in a while, so that'll be fun. Just felt like using a Badger. My next shave, I'll be able to bring to you a razor I just knotted up a few days ago, letting the silicone dry. I got a dogwood handle in a while back, and it had a tuxedo knot in it, and I'm no fan of tuxedo knots. And they're just too stiff and backboney for me. Soft tips, but shafts are just too stiff. And I moved that knot out. I steamed it out, came out just fine because Seifen of Dogwood fixes his knots with silicone rather than epoxy, and I'm so glad that he did. Okay, now that is, we got some volume there. Let's go ahead and add a little more water. So that's another teaspoon, so now we've got 2 in there. And so I put in, it's a little bit shorter of a dogwood handle, and because I participated last year in the Austere August challenge that he did, like several guys, like 13 guys accomplished this same challenge, and so he's having to make us all custom handles. He was expecting maybe just to make 2 or 3 or something, but I don't think he's going to make that challenge again. But I haven't, there's so many awesome handle colors and stuff to choose from that I haven't decided yet. I'm glad, because he's got a lot of handles to make, and he's making a few at a time, you know. All right, I don't have a lot of time today. Let's check the, yeah. So we may not take the time to get this lather to its proper stage. But look at that big old blob. See, it came off without too much of a peak. Kept its shape really easy right there. Probably needs more water. Let's go ahead and add another teaspoon, and I think we'll just shave with it, kind of no matter what it looks like after that. So I do have a dogwood handle coming at some point, and so I didn't really want to put one of my favorite knots into the current dogwood handle that I have. It's a hybrid. It's got the wood, and it's also got a light blue color, and I really like it. But I didn't want to put a super favorite knot. I'm not one of those kind of guys, since I don't like synthetics. I just have natural fiber brushes. And I'm not one of those guys that collects pretty handles. I just collect the knots. And so I pretty much don't have any knots that are duplicated in my collection. And I've already got some really good knots. Got couple of declaration knots. One from Elite Razors. And so I don't really have a whole lot of extra parking spaces. I do want to pick up another one from Uomo. I don't have any knots from them yet, at least not directly from them. All right. And so I didn't want to take up a really anticipated valuable handle in this particular dogwood. I just wanted one that I just really enjoyed. And the hole size was perfect for this 26 millimeter Virginia chain silver tip that I have been using a few times. I put it in a Stirling. I put it in a Maggard handle, that big, thick, marbly looking one that normally has a Plasson type synthetic in it. I yanked that out a while back and have been using that Virginia chain knot in it, but that Maggard handle just wasn't all that comfy once I kind of started using it more. A lot of backbone with this brush here. Nice soft tips, but a lot of backbone. Very scrubby. Not a creamy lather today. Kind of airy, but it should do the job. It's probably not going to have the creaminess of the artisan soaps that are out right now. But it's doing well. Probably still needs some more water, so can't really judge the lather because of that. At least not in a negative way. but let's add a little bit more water to the soap anyway. Well, I'm glad I didn't go for the 45-second load. Oh yeah, see this lather is getting even better. It just needed some water, and I just gave it half a teaspoon in the middle of the knot, and then I turn my head over to keep it from spilling out. Keep it down at the tips. Now, oh yeah, see, that's looking better. It just needed some water. The brush is feeling better now too. So now we'll switch to painting, since I'm in a little bit of a hurry. Okay, so we've got, did I refill again? I think that's right. I think we've got 5 teaspoons now in the lather. I just shot another teaspoon in here. We'll kind of combine it a little bit here. Work it into the lather, and that'll change it from kind of a puffy, like it did on my face. It changes it from a puffy, airy lather to a very nice looking wet lather. Yeah, oh, that's nice. I feel sorry for the guys who kind of stop when it's like this. Before I added the water to the brush, it was just kind of airy, and you knew you were going to be okay, but man, there's better stuff waiting. Sometimes thin and airy just means more water, not that you've gotten there already and it's just thin. Okay, let's see how this razor does with the old Nacet. Wow, that's just a little bit of tugging. What was it? Last shave I got tugging on my hybrid tech, and a little more than I wanted. And so I decided we'll still keep the hybrid tech in the mix, but why don't we try some other razors. So I made myself a list, and I marked off all the razors that I've already tried in it at this age. Look at all that good lather just sitting around my goatee. That's where the extra gathers on my brush. Hey, we're being fast today, right? So why don't we just take, can you use my hand and grab lather from the bowl and just kind of re-lather without doing a rinse. That's a thing. Some people do that as a regular practice. That might be a way that I save time myself. Feel a little bit of tugging on that first pass, but this second one's pretty comfy. So can you believe that this Nacet, after being used 222 times, I think the last shave was 222, so I think this one might be 223. It should be in the description of the video and on the title as well, after the word Nacet in the title, which is obviously the blade name. I'll have a parenthesis and a number. All right, little quick rinse. Rinse is also to use my hands to just kind of check the status of the stubble. How am I knocking it down? This is a Dollar Tree bowl, Santa Fe style. This is a blue 6-inch bowl from the Dollar Tree, and I've got tons of lather in it. I'm not having to worry about overflow, so that's good. That's more than I can say for the 25 times the cost Captain's Choice bowls and fine lather bowl even. Definitely can't use this brush to make 3+ passes of lather in those bowls. Just spills right over. Spend my whole time chasing lather instead of mixing it. All right, now we're going to do cross grain again. And this is smooth and easy. So now visually, as I compared the two, Fatip, it's the top cap that is different. It looks like it is a narrower top cap. And so it lets the blade, it doesn't bend the blade quite as much. And it also just lets a little bit more of the blade be exposed. And so I think that's how it's more aggressive, but tell you what, it's really not all that aggressive. If you need to shave with mild shavers, then yeah, you might find it aggressive, but I usually like my shaves on the mild end. I can take a little bit more. I can take kind of a medium aggression, and that's kind of what it feels like to me. So I would be shaving with Fatip's even if all I had was this, I think they call it a Mark 1. All right, we just did our third pass. So let's do our little touch up right here. Coming from the other side here, the other angle. And we'll just, since we're in a hurry, I know that that is presentable. So now we're going to worry about checking it right now. Hey, I want to be out of here before my wife wakes up. So I can use my Sandalwood aftershave. That'll be cool. We rinse now, full rinse. You know, my main goal when I started this channel wasn't really to gather up a bunch of subscribers. I'm almost at 500 now, and that's pretty neat. I really enjoy that. And I didn't know that I would enjoy talking with you guys in the comments section as much as I have. And there's been some guys that have kind of been with me for quite a while, and it's been a real joy to interact with you guys, to learn a lot from your own shaving experiences. But the reason I envisioned when I first started was just to provide almost like an encyclopedia, to try a lot of soaps, try a lot of razors. It doesn't really matter if I try a lot of blades, because blades are so subjective. Just because it works one way with me does not mean it's going to be that way for anybody else at all. And so that wasn't really coming at it from the blade perspective, but to give people a view on razors and soaps and soap bases, that was my main goal. So that if somebody was searching, a certain soap, I try to describe the scents as best I can. This is pretty much a nice straight sandalwood with a little bit of just extra freshness added in. So to me, it's not offensive at all, like the Taylor Vol Bond Street sandalwood is. Well, there's not a whole lot of sandalwood in there, but it's just a nice, clean, fresh scent. And I like the base a lot. And the soap certainly is travel worthy, and it's a size. I think it's the right size to drop down into a mug if you wanted to use it that way. I think that it would excel at that. But I just wanted to be an encyclopedia, a way where somebody could type Klar shaving soap, and we would have a video. And like for instance, I put several Mitchell's Wool Fat videos out there, and I really like putting out videos for soaps that aren't known to be good, because I want to expose them as good and how to make them good and help people out with that. I guarantee you there are people out there who were given a soap and that's the only one they have. And if they only see the videos out there that don't put it in a good light, if it's a good soap, like some people have trouble lathering Mitchell's Wool Fat. A lot of people have trouble lathering Williams. And so I've purposefully put some videos out there to help to try to address that, so that a guy who just doesn't have a big budget, wants to get the best use out of his soap, maybe we'll help him out. And then also just there are definitely some soaps out there that don't have a lot of videos for even the soap base, much less the soap scents. And so I want to get some out there to just be a good reference for folks. And that was my main goal, is just to have a lot of videos with good reference points. That would be good references when people needed the subscriber thing has been just an bonus, extra surprise, icing on the cake. So here's another video for Klar. I know I don't have too many out there, and it's a soap I really enjoy. I think that it's worth even the $30. It's a little bit disappointing because of the size, but it's a good shaving soap. It makes a nice, slick lather. It's got some nice density to it. And it's got a great slickness to the when you're skin-to-skin contact. It can definitely be dry if you don't add enough water. It can be dry and airy. But this is tremendous. This is a great lather. And because it's a hard soap, it's one of the few that I actually will soak prior to the shave just while I'm putting my gear together. And it looks like I could back off from the 30-second load if I wanted to. Maybe 20 seconds, 25, something like that might be what I try next. Because I've got plenty left. I just dumped like 2 passes down the sink. Here's the rest that's in the, and look at that. We like to see that. Nice elasticity, because that means it's been hydrated really well. It's moving a little bit due to gravity, and I like that. That's a tremendous lather. It's luxurious, creamy, and that's what I like about the hard soaps. It just doesn't take a lot of soap to give you that. I'm pretty sure there was 4 or 5 passes of lather in the bowl there. Pretty wild. Okay, so since you use very little soap per shave, at least you can, I think that means that you're going to get a very long life out of this soap. And so that $30 may be enough to carry you for, a year and a half of shaves, which is really pretty good. Even if it only lasted you a year, then a year of shaves, then I think $30 is pretty good for that, right? Not too bad. All right, I'm going to clean up. In terms of closeness, looking really good. My face is very nicely cut. Not quite, BBS. Just a few hairs here in my trouble spot that have a little bit of length on them. So that is definitely a good shave. And with, I think I did touch up this area once. No big deal. That's kind of typical sometimes. And to have to do it on a 220. This was the 224th shave. Is pretty neat. Blade is definitely still sharp, very sharp. Looks like we used 5 teaspoons of water in this shave, so that tells you that you can, and that's often the case with harder soaps. They don't have the water content because they've been cured, and so you need to add more water to them. With the croaks like Stirling and Barrister and Mann, they've got a little bit more water content in them, so you often don't have to add as much. And this was with a 30-second load time on the puck with a pretty dense, medium-high backbone badger brush. All right, so Sandalwood is Proraso Red, pretty authentic sandalwood smell. It's also got shea oil in it, which apparently is a valued item by some different folks. Maybe it's got moisturizing properties or something like that. All right. My wife thinks sandalwood smells like a funeral home, so she doesn't like it. And there we go. The shave is put away. Enjoying this sandalwood. That is nice. Not used to it. So the Stirling it got better toward the end of the shave. I probably need to soak it for longer if I want it to behave nice the whole shave. But especially when I got the lather watered properly, got that hydrated. And so the lather just turned into something really awesome. Turned from something kind of average to slightly below average because it just wasn't hydrated enough. Turned it from that into something excellent. And that's what water does to a good soap. Always enjoy the, let me show you that gap now that, I'll show you this. See, look at how much, and I bet if you looked at this gap here, there it gives you a good, you can see the step down on both ends of the gap. That is much more pronounced than it is with the current Fatips. And so given this video, you may actually be able to look at one of the razors and tell whether it's this one or whether it's the other one, because that gap is pretty significant. Of course, you can always tell because of the lack of the embossed logo on the underside of the base plate. That's one thing that's clearly different from my versions, and so I assume it's the same for everybody else. I like this handle. I like the size of it. Unfortunately, it's hollow. I wish it wasn't. I wish I had a little bit more girth to it, but it's usable. Reminds me of the vintage Gillette Tech kind of bar handle. That's the same with fat handle. It's hollow as well, so it gives a little bit more weight to the head. Anyway, really enjoyed the razor. It handled the old Nacet pretty well, so I'll put that on the list, at least for this age in the Nacet's life. Its geometry works with the blade edge geometry at its current smoothed out state. Works pretty well. Good with a wonderful brush, soap, and razor today. So there we go. I hope there's been something in this video that's helped you out. You take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.